Out of all three consoles at the 2002 E3 conference, the Xbox carried with it the most amount of skepticism. But only the most diehard fanboy could still kvetch after an impressive reel shown at the E3 Microsoft press conference. It looks like a year has indeed paid off.
Touchdown Broncos!
Although quality was extremely high, what was even more impressive was the variety of top-notch games. As usual, the shooters were represented in full force. They included the squad-based Brute Force, Crimson Sky, the console version of the PC action plane shooter, and Mech Assault, a decidedly arcade-style translation of the Simulation PC series. This year, the Xbox team also branched out into the less hardcore territory with platformers. The highly innovative Blink has gamers controlling time like it was a VCR. And the very promising Psychonauts, the former LucasArts member Tim Schafer. Third parties also looked like they had come into their own in mastering the Xbox's capabilities. Capcom's Steel Battalion looked incredible, although its Ultimate Joystick looked a little pricey. Sega's Toe Jam and Earl 3 revived some of the beloved characters from the old Genesis days. Shenmue 2 will finally be arriving. Sega's hottest offering looked to be Panzer Dragoon Orta. While it does come from Smilebit, you won't be pulling out your hair like in the infamous Gun Valkyrie. What was probably the most impressive game on the whole floor was Ubisoft's Splinter Cell, a Tom Clancy title that uses Metal Gear Solid gameplay with unbelievably stunning graphics. Very nice. Outside of its remarkably strong game lineup, Microsoft also unveiled Xbox Live, promising to revolutionize and simplify the online experience. It looks like Xbox owners who have had second thoughts on their purchase now have no need to fear. Now, their biggest concern should be that all of these games won't hit the shelves until late November. The Nintendo booth at this year's E3 was once again packed to the gills with enthusiastic Nintendophiles. Although Nintendo did announce some hardware, like the Wavebird, a wireless controller, the focus was on the games. The Legend of Zelda will feature the return of Link, and he's looking better than ever with a new cel-shaded makeover.
Super Mario Sunshine! Woohoo!
Super Mario Sunshine brings back everyone's favorite Paisano plumber. This time, Mario will clean up pollution and bring paradise back to the tropics. Another game that had people talking was Metroid Prime.
Game fans have been writing letters to us for years to get a Metroid game. Metroid Prime puts it into a first-person perspective. It's been very much a discovery and an adventure game as much as it has been a shooter in the past. And in a 3D world, the best way to do that is putting the player right inside Samus's visor.
In addition to the big three, the booth showcased several other anticipated titles. Nintendo also spotlighted Animal Crossing, which is already creating quite a buzz in Japan.
We think it is the right time to start to bring games that explore connectivity. And whether it's a game like Animal Crossing, where you can take elements, for instance, an NES, an old Donkey Kong game from Animal Crossing, download it to your Game Boy Advance, disconnect your Game Boy Advance, and then take it with you.
Actually, I feel this is a really unique and original genre to the gaming industry, and so when we were first creating the game and trying to classify it ourselves, we came up with the moniker of a communication game.
For zombie fans, the Capcom booth featured a playable demo of Resident Evil 0. Sega showed its support with Beach Bikers and Super Monkey Ball 2. Sega will also be the first company to bring online gameplay to the GameCube with Phantasy Star Online Episodes 1 and 2.
The first game includes Episodes 1 and 2. They can be interactive, meaning you can jump back and forth between episodes. Because the GameCube has really high functionality, the conversion was not difficult. And now we are working on the second part, Episode 2.
So there you have it. Thanks to the price drop at $150, the GameCube is now the most affordable of the three consoles. And with the crop of exclusive titles to look forward to, the Cube is shaping up to be a real contender. PlayStation 2 software presence at E3 relied less on innovation and originality and more on quantity and tried-and-true genres, though that wasn't a bad thing. Movie-based games led the charge with Reign of Fire and Disney's Stitch. Men in Black 2 was also at the show, and it was hard not to get excited over Electronic Arts and their take on the Two Towers from The Lord of the Rings. Other notable EA games included a mission-based console version of The Sims and the long-awaited Medal of Honor Frontline. The Need for Speed series made a welcome return with Hot Pursuit 2. There were other speed-based titles. Besides ATV Off-Road Fury 2 and Jet X2O, there was the eye-pleasing Stuntman and the cel-shaded Automodelista. For the RPG lover, the sequel to Legend of Legaia, Dual Saga, is coming along great. And so is Xenosaga, the first installment in Namco's epic RPG series. Bandai's Dot Hack looks to push a unique premise in that it's an offline game based in an imaginary online world. While fighting games were few and far between, many heads turned to the latest version of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, a 3D fighter using the series' original gritty manga art style. From the shoot-'em action of Dino Stalker to the much-anticipated Onimusha 2, there is a good supply of sword-wielding, gun-toting, one-man army games, where it's just as important to look cool as it is to stay alive. Dante in Devil May Cry 2 was as slick as ever. Now, Red Dead Revolver was a Western adventure game that looked downright impressive. But the show stealer in this category was undoubtedly Sega Shinobi, developed by Overworks, the same team who gave us the now classic Revenge of Shinobi on the Genesis. This year, the PS2 software lineup may not have had any groundbreaking games in it, but there was more than enough quality to keep PS2 owners happy well into 2003. Listen carefully. PC gaming is alive and kicking. Now that's over with, let's look at the evidence. Shooters were in full force. No One Lives Forever 2 is a huge jump graphically from its predecessor, and Star Trek Elite Force 2 is building up nicely. The most striking of all was Unreal Tournament 2003. It looks better, it plays better, and it should be in our hands soon. 2 sequels were on display, but were so secret we couldn't show you. Unreal 2 The Awakening and Deus Ex 2 Invisible War. Trust us, get excited. It's clear that massively multiplayer online role-playing games are entering their second generation. Games like EverQuest 2, World of Warcraft, and Asheron's Call 2 are all in development and look good, but the reliance on sword and sorcery raises concerns about the degree of innovation. There are a couple of noteworthy exceptions. PlanetSide will offer first-person massively multiplayer war combat based in the future, if it ever gets here before then. And there's this little doozy called Star Wars Galaxies that might bring workplace productivity to a standstill at the end of the year. The big treat at the show was the amount of real-time strategy games on display. In Age of Mythology, instead of replacing units with mythological entities, the game builds upon the traditional Age of Empires model with fantastical creatures and warriors in addition to your normal units. A real winner was Brian Reynolds' Rise of Nations. In a nutshell, it's Civilization 3 built for fast-paced, real-time competition where you quickly grow from ancient beginnings to the acquisition of the nasty toys of the modern age. But the audience pleaser was undoubtedly Command & Conquer Generals. With a full 3D engine and meticulously balanced gameplay, Westwood may very well have brought the series back to its former glory. But if there was one PC game that dominated over all others, it was the boys it did with Doom 3. These graphics, this gameplay potential cannot be reproduced on any console. Tasty. So if you have a PC, especially a high-end one, you have nothing to worry about. Finding the time to play everything is the real concern. Online games are hardly a new addition to E3, but this year, online consoles are the talk of the show. First out of the gate will be Sony and their PlayStation 2 network adapter.
$39.99, get the network adapter, then you can use any ISP. 90% of ISPs will work. When you buy the network adapter, you'll get a mail-in coupon. You send that in, and you'll receive Twisted Metal Black for free.
Sony's premier online title, SOCOM Navy SEALs, features squad-based multiplayer action. SOCOM will come bundled with a headset for voice communication between teammates. There's also Tribe's Aerial Assault. EverQuest Online Adventures due in 2003. And Capcom's visually striking cel-shaded racer Automodellista. Microsoft's broadband-only service takes a different approach, charging a flat $49.95 fee for access to the Xbox Live gaming network.
You get the Xbox Communicator, which is the headset. You get 12 months of service for that. And you're also going to get Revolt, which is a free game that comes with it. By the end of the holiday, we should have about 12 to 15 games available.
Among the highlights of those titles are Mech Assault, a fast-paced mech battle game based in the BattleTech universe. The much-anticipated Unreal Championship. And the Sega Sports 2K3 lineup. Nintendo's online strategy is, well, Sega. Sega's Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2 is the sole GameCube online title planned for 2002.
I feel very honored to develop the first game for Nintendo's network gaming. I would really like to keep communication and cooperation going with Nintendo in order to build a bigger network game system.
The GameCube Phantasy Star features all new visuals, levels, weapons, and even some new character classes.
We had several problems with cheating on the Dreamcast version, so we addressed a lot of the problems with this GameCube version and made adjustments and improvements.
It all sounds exciting, but is online technology up to the task of delivering what's been promised? For now, we can't help but remain healthily skeptical about the supposed next step in console gaming.